Hello, everyone. Hello, MMA fans. Welcome. Well, I come to talk to you about trash talking, okay? Because lately, I think it's something that we need, the whole MMA community, we need to have discussions about it. Because obviously, over the last couple of weeks, we have seen the power, we have seen we have realized that trash talking can actually go too far. Let's just put it this way. So we're gonna, obviously, trash talking has, one of the, I guess, one of the oldest tools, one of the oldest tools in combat sport. We remember the Muhammad Ali, one of those guys who had that ability to just build a fight. The way he talks, the way he trash talks were some of the best. But we're not gonna go that far. So I just want to talk about number one, the situation between Ian Garry and Neil Magny. Number two, situation between Sean Strickland and Ian Garry, situation and some other fighters. Then the situation between Sean O'Malley, Sean Strickland, between Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. So I'm just gonna take all of those and we're gonna talk about them very briefly. So I'm not gonna go back to the story because you all know the stories. I don't have to explain the story to you guys just for the sake of time, so I don't sit here and bore you with information you already know. So now we see with the situation with Neil Magny. Magny came out. He said after the stuff that Ian Garry said that he found himself in some trouble with his family, with his relationship with his kids, and custody issues. So he has been affected by what Ian Garry said, and I've already talked a little bit about this in another video. Now, what I said was, to me, that was totally uncalled for. Because number one, Neil Magny did not attack Ian Garry. Neil Magny simply made a comment, a dad comment, about the way he disciplined his kids, comparing it to the beating he would be given to Ian Garry during fight night. Now, I mean, this is so easy for Ian Garry to respond. That's a compliment for Ian Garry, the young man, the young prospect, who is going to just step on that older guy who has no chance of fighting for the belt anymore. Like, his time has already passed. I mean, there's several ways that he could have approached it, but instead he decided to go truly nasty, and that affected Neil Magny. Now, Neil Magny personally, mentally, was not affected, but nonetheless, it affected him. As a matter of fact, Neil Magny came back. He said when he looked at the situation Ian Garry found himself in, knowing how fighters react, most fighters would be like, "But come on, he's a bitch. Look at you now." He didn't do that. As a matter of fact, he empathized with Ian Garry. This is how great a guy Neil Magny is. So he empathized with him, and he agreed that people should be careful about how they approach trash talking about people's family members and stuff like that. So that was so commendable from Neil Magny to come and talk that way. And now, frankly, I want to ask this question: will Ian Garry be man enough to come back? I know he's sick right now, but when he recovers, will he be man enough to come back and at the very least, apologize to Neil Magny? Number one, because Neil Magny is one of the nicest guys in the UFC. Number two, in all combat sport, frankly. Number two, Neil Magny didn't do anything to Ian Garry. As a matter of fact, there was no animosity. If anything, Ian Garry should have thanked Neil Magny for stepping in on short notice to allow him to stay on the card. So there was absolutely no reason whatsoever for Ian Garry to treat Neil Magny the way he did. There was absolutely no reason for it. It was nasty. It was very cringy to watch him, the way he was acting. And even after the fight, during the fight, the way he treated Neil Magny was pretty nasty. Now, listen, we have all made mistakes in life. And we all grow. Obviously, we grow differently, and some we learn differently, and some of us learn the hard way. Most of us, at one point or another, we have learned certain things the hard way. And but I think this is an opportunity for Ian Garry to show the MMA community at least he's not just a fighter. We know he's skillful. We know his skills is great. And we know he can trash talk, and that's fine. We love the trash talking. I mean, good trash talking is great. He's good on a microphone. He knows how to promote himself. We know all that, and I'm sure we all love him for that. But at the same time, he crossed the line. And I'm for one believe that if Ian Garry comes back, as he should, because I think he should do that. If he comes back and say sorry, apologize to Neil Magny, I don't think that will diminish his star at all. I think, as a matter of fact, it will brighten it. It will show that he's human too, just like everybody else, and that he can learn. And especially considering the situation that he found himself in, he should, and the way that Neil Magny responded to the whole situation, he should come back and apologize to him. I think that would show him as a young man who can learn and who can grow. I think that would be the right thing to do. And so we're gonna wait to see how Ian Garry approach the situation, but I would strongly suggest that he comes back and apologize to Neil Magny. Now we jump into Ian Garry himself. So after he did that to Neil Magny, maybe about a week later or so, he found himself at the receiving end of some trash talking that he did not appreciate. And I can totally understand that. Listen, none of us want people to be talking about someone we're married to, someone we have a child with. It doesn't matter how they started their relationship. At this point, it don't matter. This is their partner. This is their wives. You do not talk about that person. You do not say anything, because nobody is going to like that. If anyone want to say something, I'm sure they have people who are close to them. If they think they are in a situation that they should not have been in, if you're not like very close to this person, I don't think you have the right to go and make a video and say this and that. They have a father. They probably have a father or a mother, a brother, a sister, someone who is close to them, who love them, who have their best interest, would come and talk to them about that. But as far as it's not to us to be talking to people about someone that they are married to. It doesn't matter if they are 50 years old, 50 years older than them. It don't matter. This is his wife. Just leave him alone. Leave them alone. And then one of the people who really kind of started this whole thing was Sean Strickland. It's almost like a chain, a domino. How would I say? A chain. What's the word I'm looking for? A chain reaction of karma almost. Then Sean Strickland, who pretty much orchestrated this whole thing or started off this whole thing, or at least one of the people who started off the whole thing, because I think there was some other YouTuber that had already had some issue with Garry, and also Garry was already on the news about him getting kicked out of gyms and stuff like that. So there was already stuff out there about Ian Garry. But as far as the family thing, I think first probably heard it from Sean Strickland, and then Sean Strickland just recently found himself in the receiving end of some trash talking that he did not appreciate. And again, who would appreciate someone bringing up your past childhood trauma? Nobody wants that. This is so personal. Those kind of things. And Sean Strickland came out and talked about it. It's true. I mean, it's something that's very hard to deal with. I'm sure most of us probably have experienced a level of um, childhood trauma. Probably not as severe as the stuff that happened to Sean Strickland and that happened to a lot of other people out there. But we will probably have had a situation where maybe somebody talked to us a certain way we didn't like when we were a kid, or treated us in a way that we didn't like it. So nobody wants, and especially those people who've been truly traumatized. This is something for them to deal with on a personal level, to deal with a psychiatrist, to deal with on their own. But this is not a joking matter. I don't see anything funny about that at all. And so we saw this situation, and I think the two people I can see most affected really is Ian Garry and Sean Strickland. Obviously, Ian Garry couldn't even make it to his fight, and regardless whether it is true he contracted pneumonia or not, it doesn't matter. I think one way or another, that whole situation is at least 50%, if not more, has at least 50% or more contributed to Ian Garry not making it to the cage this past Saturday. No doubt about it. And I'm pretty sure most people in the MMA community would agree with me. Even if, because guess what? I mean, severe stress can cause you to develop all kinds of disease sometimes. So I'm sure one way or another, that whole situation has contributed to him not making it to the fight. And when you have dedicated time, you have trained, you have done all the work that you have to do to come to fight, not just the money, but someone like Ian Garry, who can tell the young man has dreams, has goals, and he seems like he has everything planned. He knows what he wants to do. He's going somewhere, and all of a sudden you have this bump on the road because of something that happened that you kind of had not much to do with it, and that would affect you. And now Sean Strickland in this situation, he's fighting in January. So my advice to Sean Strickland, and obviously I'm sure he has a team of people who care for him, around him. I hope they deal with this properly. He does everything that he has to do. Obviously, he has gone through the stuff he went through as a child. I'm sure he had dealt with it before. This is not new, and I'm sure he will know how to deal with it. But dealing with something is one, and dealing with it to where you want to be, you still want to be showing up, being your best on fight night. That's a different story, because a lot of us, we have shit that we have to deal with on a daily basis or sometimes in life, but we don't necessarily need to go and be in a cage and let another grown man hitting you in the face. And it takes a lot of it takes a lot to not get beat up and to win. So I hope his team is taking this very seriously, and they help him prepare properly and get over this and put this on the rearview mirror and move forward. I hope it doesn't. I hope this is not brought up again during post-fight press conference. I hope Ducres du Plessis doesn't bring that up anymore, and he can properly deal with this and be ready to fight to face him on fight night. But the other thing too, I hope Sean Strickland can look at Leon Edwards, because this is another example again, how he was on the receiving end of some nasty trash talking by Colby Covington for almost nothing, and but he kept his cool. But you could tell he was very, very emotional about the stuff that Colby Covington said about his dead father. But he came in and he was composed, and he beat Colby Covington very soundly. So and that's another situation that's worth talking about too, because again, I mean, Colby just brought this thing up out of nowhere, made this comment about Leon Edwards' dead father. I think that was so low, so low for Colby Covington to do. Even though we would by now we all would expect wouldn't to be too surprised by certain things Colby Covington said, but that one was really disgusting. And here's one thing that I have noticed. It seems to me that in the MMA community and in life in general, certain people believe that if I want to gain something, if I want to win something, I'm gonna do anything and everything. This is actually sort of a mantra that we all live with. I'm gonna do anything that I in my power that I can to achieve a goal. However, we say that with it's in quotation. It's not like I'm gonna kill somebody because I want to achieve a goal. We all have certain limits, and I think most people have certain limits. But there is a rare breed of us, of human beings who don't care. As long as they wanna win, they're gonna do anything to win. So but I think in light of all this, the things that had happened, the situation with Leon Edwards, we see how that affected him. We see how Ian Garry is affected. We see how Sean Strickland is affected. I think in light of this, as a community, we should talk about trash talking and what should we do about it. Number one thing I would say, I think it would be crazy to try to regulate trash talking. It would be almost impossible. I mean, how would you be able to regulate it? Because it's almost impossible what somebody's gonna say on, in this when they're on the spot. When somebody is on the spot and someone attacked them or someone said something, and most of the time when you retaliate, you tend to retaliate with a bigger bomb than what you were hit with. So that's just human nature. That's, because they want to stop you. And if I want to stop you, I need to hit you with something that is strong enough so you can shut up. If I feel like you're saying something that's making me look bad, that's how we react as human beings. And so it's, you don't know what anybody is going to say. And there's so many different things that people can say. I don't know how you would be able to regulate it. And if you regulate it also, it would take so much fun out of combat sports. And look at combat sports nowadays. I mean, this is one of places where people still kind of free to speak, because we all have seen this whole. While I understand there are certain people out there who do things that they shouldn't have done, but that's why we have a justice system. That's why we have all those other avenues. If you're on the job, you do something, there is a human resources. There are a lot of ways we can deal with people instead of just people piling, people canceling this, you canceling that person. And it's almost like you get to the point and we've become like, almost like wild animals, because hey, they got this one. The lion catch this one today, maybe tomorrow it's your turn. You never know. You may be applauding somebody's cancellation now, but within 6 months you got canceled. So we all have seen it, and I think a lot of it's ringing a lot of bells. So I think that would be, I would hate to see it. As a fan of MMA, of combat sport in general, I would hate to see that we would have to get to this point to where the sport would become so boring, so stale, to where people have to be, on eggshells, can't talk, can't make a joke. No, I think that I would love to see that. However, with that said, I think the fighters should be able to learn, and we as a community, we have our role and kind of voicing what we would like to see happen, how we would like to see fighters behave. And this is why I truly would like for you to comment on this video a lot. Share your opinion. Let us know what you think about this whole situation. Because to me, in light of everything that had happened, the things that happened, the way that those fighters has been affecting Sean Strickland, Ian Garry, and Leon Edwards. And I'm sure other fighters have been affected by trash talking before. But in light of the situation, I think this is a time to where fighters need to start taking accountability for certain things they say. And I understand that people can say things about you that really hurtful, but this is, this is kind of, part of the game, part of the game. The that's trash talking. Okay, that's trash talking. It stings for the moment, but a lot of trash talking really means no harm. But I think some of them, those three situations that I'm talking about, those are hurtful. So I think we should come to the consensus that as a community, that at least we realize that we know we should stay away from family members. Stop talking about people's wives, kids, fathers, dad. Another example that I can take again is Colby Covington pretty much calling Wonder Boy a pedophile. I mean, why do you? I mean, unless you really like have somebody like they molest your cousin or someone you know. I mean, what the hell? I mean, can we talk about something else and all the things that you could say? Why would you call somebody a pedophile? I mean, what's the point? Especially when they are helping the community, they're helping kids in their community and so forth. I mean, why the hell would you say something like that? So I think just leave all those nasty things away, okay? Just don't talk about people's wives. Don't talk about their family members. Don't talk about their dead parents, dead brother, dead sister. It doesn't matter whether they were good people, they were bad people. It don't matter. Just leave all that shit alone. Just leave it out. There are a lot of other ways that you can attack your opponent and if you want to do trash talk, or just don't say anything at all. So let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example to a situation that I think was kind of misinterpreted or were taken out of context to me. Now, it's this situation between Israel Adesanya and Drew Duplessis. I know that happened a little while ago, but I just want to bring it up because to me, this is the type of trash talking I think that makes sense. And I'm going to tell you why. And please, Israel Adesanya, if you see this, don't come for me because I would feel embarrassed. I would feel heartbroken if you do because I like you a lot. You're one of my favorite fighters. But at the same time, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we got to call it where it is. We got to tell the truth the way at least on our own we understand it. And I don't know how it affected you, whatever Drew Duplessis say, but as a black man, I was watching this whole thing. So again, I don't want to go say what happened. You all know what happened. To me, that was the cringiest thing, one of the cringiest things that I have ever seen. And the reason it was so cringy, let's say Colby Covington did something like this, it wouldn't bother me at all because we all know Colby could have done something like this. But coming from someone like Israel Adesanya, you know how you believe in someone you kind of admire. You know they have this strength, this aura about them, this swagger about them that you are shocked to see them react to a situation like this. Because now Drew Duplessis from South Africa, I mean he's African, right? But he's a white guy, and he came in with a very unique, very authentic way of talking trash, of building a fight to say, hey, you know what, when I become champion, I will be the real African champion. I think that was pretty clever, pretty smart. If you were a comedian, that's probably kind of material that you could use. So, as a matter of fact, I used to work with a guy who is from South Africa, and that's one of the jokes that he used to make with me. So he'd say, hey, we are African Americans. Obviously I'm not from America, but I'm a black guy. I live in America. I am an American. And he would say that. And it's funny, kind of funny, because I mean, typically when you say African American, you expect to see a black guy. But that was a very witty way of making saying a funny thing, because he is technically African American. They say we're African American. But I mean, should I get up in arms and, oh man, I mean, you're not a black man. Why are you telling yourself African American? It's just, yeah, I mean, to me, that was a nice way for Drew Duplessis to come up with some very unique, very original trash talking, and kind of Israel Adesanya kind of killed it. And to me, that was a little, that was a little cringy to me. He just killed it. And yeah, so I'm just taking this as an example to me. this is the kind of trash talk that should matter. That was just, to me, a great line from Jacques Duplessis, and that's why that's the way I look at it. But again, so I would like you guys to go in the comment sections and let me know what you think. What do you think the fighters should do? And if you would be one to think that they should regulate this stuff, hey, I'm not telling you what, this is my opinion, but you have your opinion. But please go in the comment section and let me know what you think. And I truly appreciate when you guys, make the comments. And because we are a community, again, we are a community, we need to let everybody know what we need to share our opinion. I'm sure that can help. And also, guys, if you have not done so yet, please go to please subscribe to the channel, and so I can continue to bring you more content, because I am always thrilled to come and talk to you, and I am always even more ecstatic when you guys comment on my videos. You have no idea how much I appreciate you when you make comments under my videos. So can't wait to come back and talk to you again. But I thought this was a very important issue at this time in MMA, at this moment, enlighten everything that we have seen. I thought it was a burning question to me, something that I felt like I should have come and talked to you. I'm sorry this video is a little bit longer than usual, but please go through I hope you're gonna go through the content and share your opinion, because I think this is a good time, a good topic, a good subject to talk about MMA, especially during this time of during the holidays. There are no fights, there are nothing, so it's a good time for us to kind of talk a little bit about MMA and what we would like to see happen, how we'd like to see our favorite fighters, the fighters we like. Whether, I'm sure every fighter has fans out there, whether it's Colby Covington, everybody has fans. And sometimes we all love fighters for different reasons. Maybe we may not like their behaviors, but we like the way they fight, or we like certain other things, or the way they care for their family, or the way they care for their country. I mean, there are different ways to appreciate people, to appreciate fighters. I don't think there is anyone out there who is completely not a human being. I mean, obviously we all have weaknesses, we all have strengths, but this is something that I have seen to where this level of trash talking can affect certain fighters, and and at the end of the day, the fighters, they are strong men, they're capable men, they're men that are capable of great violence, but it doesn't mean they don't have a heart. It doesn't mean that they are not humans. They're human just like the rest of us. There are things that can hurt them, that can bother them, that can hurt their families, because they have people around them too, just like everybody else. And I'm sure all the fighters are in the same boat, and they understand that. So yeah, so I hope we can, with this discussion, we can keep going with it, and hopefully that will bring some more, that can bring more civility, more understanding, and hopefully going forward, we won't have to witness fighters have to miss an opportunity to fight, because this is the job that the fighters do. The rest of us may have other jobs, but that's their jobs. That's how they feed their families. So I would hate for them to not be able to perform, or to go into a fight to where they could win, but instead got knocked out because the heads is not truly in the fight. The heads is somewhere else. They are hurting. So so I hope we can bring out a constructive discussion that can be helpful to the fighters, because we're all out there in the community. We have fighters we love, we have fighters we support one way or another. So yeah, so I think it's an important subject to talk about, and I cannot wait for opinions, guys, because I've read some of your comments. They are always on point. A lot of you guys make excellent comments, so I can wait to listen to your voice, guys. But until I see you again, before this video goes past 30 minutes, peace out.